One. Run normally. Yeah, run normally OBS. Why would I want to run anything but normally? Guys, thanks so much for watching with my buddy Apollo Popperset on Wednesday, May 7th, 2025, at 1:26 p.m. Eastern Time. Apollo was just asking would I hit it if we had a little too much sake, and I said yes. If he was wearing his George Floyd shirt, I'd hit it because that's my love language. Apollo knows me well. For people that don't know Apollo, he is a PhD. He has 17 gold medals. You've evaded conviction on three continents. Uh,
Soon to be four.
Soon to be four, because in a lot of places, guys, like it or not, age is just a number. And the law is fast, but Apollo's faster. And
Oh God.
um, none of that's true. Not that I know of. None of that's true. And as Apollo asked me beforehand, what are we talking about? I have no idea, dude. I don't know what I'm doing ever on a show. I have no idea. Pure terror.
That's your magic. That's your magic though.
Pure terror every day. Just terror. Just t terrifying, I think, for guests. Not the terror's worn off for me, but there's always a little bit of a look in guests, and they're going, "What do you want to talk about?" I'm like, "I don't know." And just recording in progress, and they're kind of like, "Oh, Jesus
Well,
Christ."
shit.
Yeah. How long you been flying? I'm like, I don't know, man. It just, put all four throttles forward. And I'm like, oh, it normally lands. Like, I haven't crashed yet. It's kind of the energy I bring to it. And yeah, the more I think about it, I don't know how anyone can do anything that is pre-planned. It's just, I don't know. It kind of all seems like dog shit. And then I do get so angry when I do see the shit that's on like the front page of Rumble or YouTube or Twitter. And it's the same formulaic dog shit. AOC slams Trump. And it just makes me want to blow my brains out, which is why I have on Apollo, because he is not the counterweight to my negativity. He's actually a even heavier weight. He's even more negative.
My mission in all things is to increase the gravitational force of negativity
Yeah.
and discontent with existence itself. And so I'm happy to indulge in that with you. But I'm actually glad you brought that up because like if we just look at, I mean, we look at Rumble, we look at X. I mean, on one hand, it's cool that we have some of these platforms. Rumble's
Sure.
done a better job up leveling their tech to a degree as well. But I mean, shit, man, the news sucks.
Well,
Like, and you have all these influencers and all these people, and I personally, and I think we talked about this last time that I was on the show. I can't stand social media. Like, it's such a powerful thing, and you can connect with people and yada yada yada, and get information out, and it's decentralized, like news dissemination in a big way. But there's still such a huge problem with all this recycled narrative bullshit and the same people who are just pumping each other's stuff. And like, I feel like the world is not focusing on real solutions. They're not focusing on like real problems, and it's just sensationalized stuff. And it's all curated. Like I've talked about that before on different shows, but
I've
um,
I actually started doing something.
it's really upsetting. Okay,
I actually
yeah, go
started
ahead.
doing something a couple weeks ago on it, not thinking that there was like it was much like the podcast. There was no grand plan, but it's actually worked out very, very well as if it was planned. Um, I'm like I never block anyone on Twitter because I always just look at that as like a sign of weakness. Where it'd be, somebody comments and then blocks you.
Yeah,
You're just
yeah.
like, all right. I mean, so I never do that, but I start talking about like the kind of recycled more and more. I don't know what hit, but it was like a month ago. I think it's because there was like an account I liked, some like I don't know, some like gun account that I liked, and I noticed something, and he had posted some. It was just like I don't know, some meme or some old viral video, and it's like, what do you guys think in the comments? And I just stopped and I was like, why is this guy doing engagement shit? Like he always does cool shit about guns and how to care for your guns in the outdoors. Shit I know nothing about, but I like it when somebody's passionate about anything. I find the passion itself interesting. And I just saw it and I was like, you're better than this, man. Don't do this engagement shit. And like once I noticed it on an account I liked, I was like, well, on how many accounts do I not like? where it's just like a meme or, it's just some, video from like 2016 of like an Antifa person getting knocked out or, what would you do? And I just started to notice like the engagement, just like, and so I started, and now I just have it in my notes. I just copy and paste it. Whenever I see just something or some old meme or whatever, I just copy and paste, uh, I just copy and paste the following thing. Slop engagement post, zero effort. It's not original content. Fuck you, blocked. And I just started doing that every time I see it. Just some video you've seen a million. What would you do in this scenario? And I've been doing it, and I never, and then I just block, and I just don't, and I mute it, and I never look at it anymore. But I've been going back and looking at those just because I probably look like a schizo screaming at people. Every time I post that, a ton of people feel the same way. And since doing that, it took about 3 weeks. I don't see any engagement slop anymore. So whatever algorithm Twitter has, you have to beat it into submission, but it does start to respond to it. And I've tried to more and more only comment on stuff I like. So it's a lot of like cool AI art people I follow that make fictional world. And it's like
Yeah.
ancient Greece was on the moon or something. Really beautiful stuff. And I always comment on that. And I get almost exclusively that. So now my feed, unless I go out and look for it, nothing India, Pakistan. I don't know shit about the southern border. I don't, it's just what I've been looking at. And that could feed into what you're saying about people aren't bothered with real things. To me, I look at it more of a bigger picture in that you can curate it. You have to prod it and you have to kind of like domesticate it, but you can start to curate it. And I'm wondering if it would work on Rumble. Just show me less of this. Every time it's just for the 18th trillionth time, it's Candace Owens or Stephen Craig, just conservative ink. I wonder if the more if you kind of beat those down, will it stop serving those up? And I don't know. I imagine the two are somehow linked. Engagement slop and then just the general right wing influencers, which I think in 20 years will be looked at in our generation by the kids after us the same way we look at our parents with mainstream news. Be like, oh yeah, no, he's still brain dead. He watches the right wing influencers all day because that's all it is. It's a very limited number of nodes through which the powers that be can put forward the narrative they desire to be talked about. And it could even be that it's not that they care about the narrative; it's that you're not paying attention to this thing over here. So I'm with you. It's a cancer. It's a scourge on earth, but I think you can beat it into submission.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have an ability to say, okay, yeah, I'm done with that. And I honestly like on Rumble, because I go to Rumble for things that I want to watch. I don't
Yeah.
like scroll Rumble.
No.
I know some people use it for that. I mostly don't give like the slightest attention to what's on the like main homepage, like
Neither do I.
the featured stuff. Because like, even back a year ago, it was like Andrew Tate shirtless smoking cigars with his brother talking about his nonsense. And I was like, how is this like the highest rated stuff? And then it's like, typical things. Some of them, okay, they have decent shows, but I'm just like, is this real?
No.
And so like, Rumble, uh, I know they have certain people, and of course, Rumble's going to promote things that are bringing views and bringing traffic and things like that. It's just not content that I'm really interested in. Like,
No, I
if I'm going to
fucking
go
hate
to
Rumble.
Rumble, yeah, it's
They're like my
terrible.
biggest partner, and I should be kissing their ass. I fucking hate Rumble.
I mean, no, I love Rumble for the fact that,
I
generally
love no
they let
censorship.
anyone on there.
That's
Yeah, I like
that
the
is the
fact that it's not
value.
YouTube. Like, you're not going to get banned because you're
Yeah,
talking
yeah, yeah.
about
No,
you
no,
say
that is an
COVID.
invaluable thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I get Rumble has like its business priorities. It has to grow and do things if it's gonna be able to make things better. Like if you could have the YouTube type of features to edit content and do things like that on Rumble, that would be great. That's going to require them to be able to build that stuff out. So whatever, Rumble can do what's best for Rumble there. But the content, and it's not, I don't think, a Rumble problem. Just like some of these platforms, like X is a whole different animal. But if we look at that, like it doesn't even matter what you have kind of whittled down in your algorithm. all the stuff that is like getting pushed in front of people is a lot of stuff that's it's like it's formulaic in a way, and it's very tiresome because you see like, it's always breaking, or
Yeah.
developing, urgent, cybers
New.
news.
New.
You're like, bro, that's from like 3 years ago. That's not new. Or you look at some of this stuff and like, this is worthless. And if you want to like doom scroll, if like there are some people who just want
They want
content and
the
they like get that urge that like it scratches something in there and they get their crack fix because they see like breaking exclusive from some dude who you know has in their profile that they're a Spaces host because that's like their
yeah,
best.
that's their thing.
Yeah, that's their thing. Like, cool, but it's just not like content that I'm interested in. Like,
What an
I
elite
don't
threshold.
care.
I'm a
At
space host.
least like this, like if I want to, I will like read a book. Like
Yeah.
this is a crazy set, by the way. This is a college textbook, which is really frightening.
Hold it up.
It's here. I'll show you.
No,
It's human
I
interaction,
think someone
emerging
literally said
technologies, and future systems.
I think someone said the name of that book on this show in like the last 2 weeks. I'm not even kidding.
Okay, so I heard about this book. Like here, you want to know? There are a few people. If I'm going to listen to someone, like if I am curious about what is going on, or I want like a good take, um, if I want content I'm going to listen to, it'll be very topic specific mostly because I don't get too wrapped up in like personalities. Like, oh, well, like I'm not like a Joe Rogan fanatic. Like I don't go in
I don't
like
care.
because Joe Rogan did something, I have to listen to Joe Rogan's
Yeah,
show. I just don't really
those are
do
the
that.
right wing NPCs. Well, it's all about the alchemy. It's like, are you interested in that? What are you interested in?
Like, yeah, and then you have like the Jordan Peterson fanboys and things like
Yeah.
that. I'm really sorry that he got like wrapped up into the conning CIA trap.
I'm sorry, his brain has been lobotomized and he has the
Oh,
emotional
dude.
stability of a pregnant horse. Like, Jesus Christ.
Well, now he's got like the last year, I've seen bits and pieces of his shows, and it's so weird that I look at it sometimes. I'm like, is this actually Jordan Peterson,
I
or
was
is
gonna
this like an
say,
AI
I
rendition?
might have to throw a bone to like the real schizos that are like, he's a clone. Normally, I'm like, shut up. With Jordan Peterson, I'm actually kind of like, I don't know, clone, but AI maybe. I'm not going to go so far as to say they built a humanoid, but has he been dead for a couple of years? 20% chance. I'd say yeah. I'd hand that to this. I'd say yeah. You're not. No, no, no. Don't kick him out. No, he can stay. He's kind of accurate. Sorry, keep going. Jordan Peterson.
Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, I think yeah, I mean if I'm being truly honest, and I think it's a weird thing because you'll have again some of those like engagement farming type accounts and people who just like to sensationalize stuff. Um the clone thing is another one that gets pushed a lot, and some of them are just really stupid. But there's like a very serious reality to that. That's a topic that is really interesting to me because you take Biden, for instance, and we're talking like now the auto pen, and this is huge implications, like really serious thing. But it's been so painfully obvious to me. Maybe I'm just like the crazy one, but it's been so painfully obvious that has not been Biden. There's been like 9 Bidens. There's been like 12 Fettermans. There's all these people. You got Bill and Melinda Gates. Like I don't know what happened and what like dude who used to be cast on a sitcom is now playing Melinda Gates.
Yeah.
Like you have all these
Yeah, the
celebrities
Biden
and
one's
people
weird.
who the Biden one, dude, is so bad. Like you cannot possibly tell me that is the same person.
It's almost harder to digest. Just speaking from my own subjective experience, like, is the technology there? Absolutely. I mean, I know.
100%.
I mean, they
100%.
did it in the 70s and the 80s. The CIA when they do plausible, they'd have white guys. There's a famous operator named Billy Waugh. He was like the John Wick of like the CIA in the 70s. He used to talk about when doing stuff in Africa or the Middle East, they'd have prosthetics. They'd have like dark leathery hands so that you couldn't tell it was like an Irish boy in the middle of fucking Kandahar. Sure, technology's there. I've always just looked at it as like there's easier ways to do it. The Biden one's difficult because it's almost like it's it's like not being opposed to a conspiracy when you find out like the local sheriff is, getting kickbacks from the local bar or something. That's you're like, yeah, whatever. When it gets to like a 9/11 thing, sure, it's much more complicated, but there is some hesitance because the implication is so massive. You almost don't like, so I have sympathy for people that like resist it. And I see that in myself with like the Biden one. I don't think clones are impossible. I don't think AI is impossible. You can mimic their voices. I think it's like because it's the president and the sitting president, not like well, now he's ex. There is almost like you don't want to unpack it because you're like you have no problem unpacking corruption on like a local level. When it's 9/11 or Gulf of Tonkin, it's a little you go, oh man, because it's as we talked about last time, it's a foundational piece of the structure that the scaffolding of your life, your logic, sun goes up, sun goes down. There's the seasons. We vote for if you sit with that and go, that's not Biden. Okay, well then who is it? Do we know who it is? Is it one person? Is it a group of people? Is this the first time it's happened? Are we just now detecting it? Is that really Trump? You start to you start losing your footing. And I have sympathy for that. But you have to look at it fearlessly. And some of the shit you look at those two pictures are like five pictures of Biden. You're like, that's not the same. You show me that and say that's the local principal. I go, oh, principal died years ago, and they just don't want to scare the kids. They brought in a new guy. When it's the president, you go, I don't know about that. It seems a little wacky. I don't know, man. Sorry, I know I interrupted you. Keep going.
No, no, I mean you're absolutely right. I mean, if you want my take on this, and it connects to so many topics, including many that are talked about in that book. Um, it is because, well, it's for a few reasons. Now, number one, I think that in general, the things that are talked about and the way they're talked about, we have, of course, like very similar, things that we've seen exposed, whatever, for them to relegate certain topics to, conspiracy theory, uncredible stuff. This is the role I think people like Alex Jones play. This is the role that, you have that one, what's that dude? He talks about UFOs and stuff like that. And he's like, I'm a secret agent and I'm here giving you all the details about
Stephen Greer,
UFOs. No, he's an
Jeremy
op. He's
Corbell.
definitely some kind of DOD
Yeah,
op. I don't
Jeremy
know
Corbell,
exactly.
or the guys from the actual Lou
He's
Elizondo.
the Elizondo. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
Elizondo.
that guy gives me the
Yeah, so you've got techniques like that, and so you get some people, and they know that you can get people like riled up with some of those topics, so they get them all on the like, all right, everybody's a clone thing, and it makes the conversation very difficult to have in a real way that's meaningful. But I mean, you take the president, and you said it very well. It's a big leap to say, oh, look, the president isn't the president. But I mean, if like, let's be entirely honest, we're talking like kind of a subset of the bigger problem, which is we as a population have been told that we elect somebody and our vote counts and it matters, and then the people that we choose collectively by whatever fucking rules they say, that is who is actually running the country,
I just
right?
I just had that
So
realization. It's like it doesn't need to be a clone, even if that is him in the flesh.
it's
He's
not
not
real
running the
anyways.
show. It's
He's not running the show. And
I'm
you know what?
arguing about
Some
is
of
it a clone? Is it possible? It doesn't matter. And guess what? If they shirk the system, they'll blow your fucking head off. That
well,
was
I
the
mean,
you know how you
dude,
know he ran
they'll
the
kill
system?
you.
Because they lobotomized him in front of his wife in a Cadillac. That's how you know he was the president.
Yeah, well, I mean, there you go. But I mean, even then, it's like so you have layers of this, right? So you have
Yeah.
it's all completely a show, and you have to kind of like make a few assumptions, and it can change over time. So like number one, it's all a show, and everyone who's playing a part in the show knows that it's a show and knows the role they're playing and that it's a role. I don't think that's true. It is in some areas, I'm sure. Then you have, okay, well, it's totally a show, and some of the players don't realize it. Like, and I think presidents would be a good example. Like some people, you go back to like George H.W. Bush. Some of these people had ties, like Trilateral Commission, Council on Foreign Relations, all these things. He was CIA director and Senate and blah 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 blah. And then he gets, he's like, so you go from Reagan's administration on, and now he's the president, and then like you have basically the CIA running the country at that point.
Mhm.
And like his whole, like his official and stated deal back when he was CIA, remember, was to
HW.
rehabilitate the CIA's image and like public trust in the CIA because they'd screwed all kinds of shit up. This was back during like
Big
Iran
church
Contra.
committee. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big deal. And then he goes in. He's president now. I mean, think about this. You have like the CIA director, and then he gets into the presidency, and the whole thing. He would like go on. There's an interview of him. I'll see if I can find it. But he went on in an interview and was like, "We cannot declassify some of this information because we need to make sure that the CIA can keep doing CIA stuff. And the fact that it has to be compartmentalized and classic is the most important thing." And he kind of just tells you straight to your face that, like, yeah, you don't need to
You
know.
dumb peon.
Like, that is not I'm not here to have accountability and transparency. I'm here to make sure that the CIA can work in whatever ways and handle whatever special activities it needs to do as the CIA. But again, so you have someone like that who knows that, he's running the show, but there's also a lot that the public doesn't know. And some of that is legitimate. Like if we have actual military,
Sure.
we have like state security issues. Fine.
Yeah.
There's compartmentalization does serve legitimate
Yeah.
purposes. There are valid reasons for that. But you have people like that. Then you have, JFK might be one, or you have some like, then you get into the Clintons, whatever. I'm not going to like dive into any of these people right now, but some of them probably legitimately think I'm the most powerful man in the world. But then there's people handling them, and there's all kinds of activities by different, I'm sure in the DOD, in the CIA. These people are doing things that affect national interests. That, I mean, they're toppling governments, running operations. Do we assume that like every president actually is told the truth by the people who are supposed to be reporting to him as commander in chief? No. The Trump administration back in 2016 showed that very clearly, that there was all kinds of things going on. And so again, we have actual people who are working. Now, is the president aware and actually in charge of everything? No. Does the president believe, like I'm sure in some previous administrations, again, you go back to Reagan, some of these other people, that they're really running it and they're in charge when there are other things going on? And this can apply to like any corporation if people are like, trying to make a stretch to this line of thought. But no, I mean, there are obviously ways that they can think that they are actually the one pulling the strings and they are elected by the people and therefore, that's how it is. And that's not true. I think Biden is probably the worst example and the most in your face for the American people and probably the world, because now it's just kind of openly admitted when you have, like his family members saying we had a great meeting and they're getting like classified briefings and he's going to go meet with his team and with his family and we're going to make this decision. I mean, they threw it in everyone's face that A, he ain't running the show. B, it was so painfully apparent that that's not Biden, or that there's a different Biden given whatever day of the week it is. And the same thing with some of these senators, like Fetterman, the most egregious example. Or then you have, what was the chick, the evil gun grabber, the one who was Feinstein. And you have people like Feinstein who's literally, she's like brain dead on the floor, and they're like, say yes. I mean, it's like on camera, they're like, say yes, say I. And she's like has no idea what's going on. She's like being wheeled around, and then these people are voting for like, things that are affecting the national budget and bills that are being passed. I mean, it's been so plainly clear that it ain't real. Like, there's mechanisms and ways that they can affect this, like, substitution of actual power and legitimate authority from the chain of command that we're told is real in America. But again, if you have stolen elections, they don't need a body double. Body doubles are not even a controversial thing, but they don't need a clone. They don't need all this other stuff. And personally, I'm going to get off this tangent.
Okay.
But like just so everybody knows, if you're asking me, cloning is real, 100%. They have augmented humans and have for decades. They 100% have doubles, and they 100% have all these people. Once you get to a certain level, that I'm sure they give a choice. The blackmail that we've seen come out with, connections to Epstein and all kinds, it's very real.
Yeah.
Mossad and how they're getting all these influencers and they're funding people and they have blackmail and politicians. I mean, it's obvious. It should be
Yeah.
painfully clear and obvious to everybody. But those are kind of issues that I feel like we can deal with later because right now we can't even like figure out as a nation, mostly again because of the intelligence community and because of people in the military industrial complex who are part of this cabal, whatever you want to call it, whatever words you want to assign to it. Uh, they don't want us to actually have the power to run anything because A, there's a lot of money in it and there's a lot of control. And then there's whatever ideologies they think that they're going to, lead humanity into the AI revolution and we're all going to transcend humanity and become God, like whatever. But they're guilty. They've committed atrocious crimes against humanity. And the things that they really do beyond, oh, there are kids being trafficked, which is, among the biggest assaults you got in the first place.
Absolutely
It's
unforgivable.
but it's that's like dropping the bucket. Like even
Yeah.
the Epstein stuff, all the conversation is like, oh my God, look at these flight logs that have been out for like what, like 6 years now. And they talk about, oh, they were abusing kids, and look at these depositions, abusing kids. Horrible, horrible. They
Quarter
need to be
million
held
go missing
accountable.
a
But
year.
bro, they've been doing genetic research with a lot of this stuff. Where do you have like Stephen Hawking and all these people that show up on his island, all these like top level physicists, scientists, and they're just there to touch kids? Like he's connected to all kinds of genetic projects and things that were gathering DNA for databases and like
Zorro
things
Ranch.
connected to the Zora Ranch stuff, genetic experiments, breeding, chimerism, connections to Obama's brain initiative, where I mean, it's all like technologically controlling your thoughts and DNA. Like it's way bigger than oh,
It's
they went to touch kids and they like sacrifice things, which is like believe me, it's a heavy topic and like that stuff gets me riled up, but it's kind of a disservice to humanity when they only relegate it to that, and it maintains the place of like this clickbait nonsense of Pizzagate,
yeah.
but in a relative in like a relegated base level approach.
It's when you look at all of that, it's I would say just so we don't come across as complete, because I'm with you on everything you said. You also don't want, and this is just me kind of trying to think about the average person. You don't want to completely saturate them with everything and be like, that's only a small part, because what you don't want is the feeling of helplessness and go, well, there's nothing I can do. Is COVID the only thing? Is biosurveillance the only thing? Absolutely not. But, you know, I don't want the doctors I have on to feel like, hey, dude, you're just part of one small thing that's fighting you. Like, no, like you are doing the Lord's work. And if you're an oncologist or a cardiologist and your little thing is publishing papers and, anecdotes on vaccine, and keep doing that. The military guys I have, like Baz, that runs ARC, the Association for the Recovery of Children, they rescue trafficked kids, like a couple a year. Yeah, that's next to nothing, but it's not nothing. As Baz always says, it's not nothing for those kids. And if you can put the fear of God in the people that do get caught and the people around them, that is something to do. However, that being said, it is important to zoom out and go, this is so much. I mean, it's what you said. It's beyond, it's not like the long march to the institution, Cold War, Marxism, Yuri Bez. It's the march out of humanity into augmentation and then outright synthetic fabrication of biology and then just a digital reality. It is creating the truest form of totalitarian dictatorship. Not that you're being surveilled, but eventually that you're uploaded into this cloud of unimaginable computational power where you are truly controlled and there is no free will. It's like biblical as you get.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you don't want to offload that onto, let's say, like Dr. Malone, who's doing a Substack on, vaccine injury, because the only real effect that has is for those people to kind of feel helpless and go, well, what's the point of fucking anything, right? So however, it is important to talk about, and I do more and more. I think any sort of aggregation of like influencers, anytime it starts to, it's like the founding fathers, right? it's like their general. We look back at them with the benefit of hindsight. You gotta remember they didn't have that. It's 1776, it's 1780, it's 1790. Like they're a kind of across the board rule was like power will aggregate. Even this beautiful system we've set it up, which is why everyone needs to have guns so that they can kill everyone in power. And that was about all they could kind of really like settle on. Was like it will happen and you do have to destroy it again. Whenever I see any aggregation, right wing, left wing, I don't care who it is on the right. I don't care if it's Nick Fuentes or Lily Gaddis or Andrew Tate or Peterson or Shapiro or Crowder or whoever, Glenn Green. I'm sure they all have their merits and whatever the fuck. But anytime we start to get these recognizable faces in any formal or informal aggregation. And what is it? Is this the local influencers for, I don't know, the gas station cabal? No, it is the new mass media. They're the ones on Twitter with like a billion active users. Whenever I see that, and then whenever I see all of these topics come up at the same time, I think general pattern recognition would say this is the new Mockingbird, but instead of Walter Cronkite or Sean Hannity, it's right wing influencers on Twitter and Instagram. It's the new generation. It's not a big desk and tonight on the evening news, Saddam Hussein. Instead, it's Rogan. It's a who I'm sure is a fine dude, but it's your tatted up bro, or it's an ex-military this, or it's Benji Parent. It's whatever. They all look different, and it does seem to be that they are all just people who built their own thing, and this is the new this is the Wild West of the internet. But it's starting to seem pretty uniform. And it might not even be that they're shoveling a narrative and it's like we'll just use the social media to counter their narrative. It might not be that it matters what narrative it is that we're even talking about, so much as that we're not talking about something else. Why are
Yeah.
we getting a mineral deal with Ukraine? Is that really, did Trump come up with that to get our money back? Was that why this whole thing was initiated? Are there a million people dead for this? Why is Trump going over to Gaza and why are they just now unleashing Operation Gideon, whatever, that they're going to occupy Gaza indefinitely? Why are we seeing all of this? So it's not really about Shiloh Hendricks or Carmelo Anthony. And it does matter where you come down on that. It's like I think you said it perfectly earlier. It's like clones do exist, but guess it doesn't even matter. Like you don't even need that because they didn't run the show anyway. It's like you
Well,
think you got to the finish line and there was another finish line. I think it's good to just in general and I'm with you. Rumble's new. They are doing the Lord's work. They're providing free speech. Hey, get it, got it good. And you do have to grow that. For that free speech to continue, you do have to do it. Even if it means you're doing clickbaity conservative ink shit. Okay, I get it. You're doing the dirty work. I'm just very skeptical of any sort of gatekeeping filtering device, even if it's unofficial. That's how I'm saying this. The airport, Portland Jetport's where 9/11 started. I just imagine you and I are getting too close to it, and the 747 goes through the fucking just
well, okay, so let me. I'm gonna
yeah, and
try and.
they just see Apollo. Mine things goes black, and your phone rings, and it's HW who isn't dead, and you're like George, confirm.
Hello, yeah, hello, Apollo. You guys that like
Apollo,
weird
you're a
Mister
patriot.
Rogers
Thank you,
universe.
sir.
Yeah,
Dude, flew too close to the
he's the
sun.
Mister Rogers from hell. Um, but no, you actually you touched on a few good points, and let me just like elucidate the best way that I can, like my beliefs,
Yeah,
why some of those things connect and they're important. On the Rumble side, uh, I don't think it's necessarily a Rumble problem in and of itself, because I don't think it should be Rumble's job to decide, you know, what people want to see. That's not their job. Now, it is similar with X in ways, though I have a suspicion X with whatever Elon is doing is probably going to be more helpful at some point soon. but I'm not going to go there right now.
Are you
Rumble, I think.
QAnon? Are you QAnon? That was a very QAnon message. Soon.
Well, no, here's why I say that.
I know.
Okay, now I will touch on the X thing. So you have a lot of people who are like, "Oh yeah, well, I'm not getting payments from X anymore." So Elon Musk has like, well, I mean, shit, dude, his AI infrastructure and the amount of compute that he has with now
Colossus.
XAI with
Exit.
yeah, I mean,
I watched a
bro,
documentary on it like a month ago.
bro, it's wild.
It's
It's
insane.
wild. Like crushes anything that we've been publicly, allowed to know exists. Like it crushes government shit in like the scale and capabilities that he has, which I'm sure is part of the reason why he's a huge military contractor. But and that's like very well connected to the stuff in this book. By the way, highly recommend. I saw this book recommended by Sabrina Wallace. It goes by Synergy, which is one of like very few people that I truly enjoy the content, and I believe she's like touching on stuff that nobody's touching on. It's like her and Tori, whether or not people like her. Um,
I don't know who they are.
I would I would recommend both of those, both of them. Um, they know some shit and they break it down really well.
I'm gonna make a note. I'm actually gonna get it. What's the name of the book again? I was thinking, should I write it?
Human Interaction, Emerging Technologies, and Future Systems 5.
Interaction, emerging
This is
technology,
an actual college textbook right now.
and emerging technologies and future systems. I was thinking about should I make a note of it?
You should,
I'm
you
gonna
should,
get
you
it. I'm gonna
should.
read it. It's in the
It's
notes.
actually two, so this is part two of it.
Hell yeah.
There are two books like this size, and it's a collection of like papers, and it's wild, bro. And it connects a lot of stuff. But so anyway, we talk about X. Elon's got really, I mean, that AI is great. That shit is really good. And so what he's posted about, and it hasn't like been a huge highlight for a while, but he's posted about we have bot problems and things like that. If people think his AI can't recognize accounts that are bots and see bot activity, like if I can with my own eyes go and look on an account that's been active for 3 years and it has posted like 28,000 times, like this is not a human level of posting.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. Like,
Happy to
dude,
help you grow in the crypto world. Let's make money together.
yeah, or you see like 200,000 posts in like 2 years, and you're like, dude, you're not real. But so if you think he can't see that, and he can't see, with his technology on the back end and all the other stuff he's available, if you think that he can't identify like narratives and also having access to like the
Yeah.
DMs and to see how people are connecting with each other behind the scenes as well, like what narratives are being pushed and the timing and like
And
when people are circle
do they all
jerking their own
flow
stories.
from or one like data center in fucking wherever? Like,
Yeah, or even just organically. There's like these same five accounts that like all of a sudden one of them posts a story and they all yeet it, and then they all get like a bajillion views and they're ripping off content. And like, I mean, even just the text alone, like you think that some of these
the
people who just
pattern
copy
recognition
paste
is
shit,
probably, yeah.
you think his AI isn't like, oh, yep, you're copying from them. You did it 18 times over the last.
And
I
even
mean,
if
they know.
and even if their handlers aren't DMing them on Twitter, if they're smart enough to not use Twitter, you can probably deduce. You go, they all have some other form of connection outside Twitter, but they all got the message at the same time. They all tweeted at 5:04 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's not
Yeah.
rocket science. Like it's when you have the technology, it's very easy to see, and he has it real time data. So you also then have his Tesla data. I'm not going to get into that right now, but he can see, like, and the teams can see. They know, and his AI, he doesn't need to like sit there and like do any math himself. I'm sure, has algorithms that can identify what accounts are doing that, what accounts are real, where are bots, what are run by team, different, all kinds of different things. But also, when you talk about engagement, you have some of those clickbait accounts, and uh, they're gonna have a certain type of engagement, and I'm sure he's looking at, which we already know because they admit in their analytics, they show it to you, like how long people stay on the content, shares, reposts, what type of engagement you're getting in terms of comments and replies. Those are all things that I believe when he started rolling out these changes last year, and then all of a sudden everyone was like, "I'm getting screwed from my X money." It's like maybe he just changed the algorithm, and he had spent enough time because remember he needed X for what? In order to have good data, like actually good data for Grok, he had to be able to identify the bot accounts and the different types of activity, like that circle jerking stuff, so that he can see what is meaningful engagement and interaction.
And model the AI after. You don't want to
Yeah,
model an
because
AI
otherwise you're
off
giving
of
it
AI
shit data.
bots.
You're giving it shit data. It's not real.
Yeah.
So if he wants to have his AI function, he has to first train it to understand and identify here are these types of accounts
Yeah.
or whatever, this type of engagement, and then apply a filter and basically say zero it out. I don't
Yeah.
want that included in
Boy.
whatever thing that he's training for a specific purpose. And there might be one that's training it on all, but whatever. Um, just apply that. Like, what if he already has that? Let's assume, and then he just goes Thanos snap. You guys get paid for the real stuff. I mean that's kind of what I think happened. Is he Thanos slat? Just Thanos snapped everybody's fucking X payments, and yeeted everybody who was basically like stealing money from X
Yeah.
and like ripping off the
Engage.
system
Yeah.
by farming engagement and using a bunch of trash and a bunch of bots. That's why I think some people got whacked, and it's not maybe entirely their fault because they were just doing what worked.
Yeah. They're
Like
playing the
not
system.
necessarily was malicious. And if they're trying to make their living on X, okay, I don't agree with your tactics. I think you're probably morally bankrupt and you need to look in the mirror. But there you go. And then there's
Yeah.
people who I think are actually like doing it, knowing full well that like, deep inside, I'm not valuing or I'm not offering value to humanity. But there's the X piece. And so that's why I say X, because it's already at the place that it is and he has the capability. And that's what I believe happened. That is why I think X will be more beneficial in terms of valuable content towards people to actually find real information. But I'm going to leave that for there. Go back to Rumble. I think Rumble's issue is more like, frankly, it's a people problem. And because people have been run so many ops, and Rumble is just promoting, okay, well, what's getting the views, not necessarily why. I think Rumble's just behind in that sense. So I think Rumble still is doing amazing work, but they're kind of stuck in the loop of like, well, all the people are going to this content, not because it's the best, not because it's the most informative, but because it has the views. So I think
Mm.
Rumble's kind of stuck in like, the population who's ingesting content on Rumble is still stuck up in the, engagement trap to a certain degree.
Mm.
And that's Rumble's problem.
Yeah.
That's why I think Rumble is going to be slower behind. But honestly, it's like it's going to take the people to understand like who's really putting out real stuff. That's going to take some time. I don't know how that's going to happen on Rumble, specifically. And it's also going to depend on like you have some people who just watch shows, like they'll watch Joe Rogan just because they want something to watch and they enjoy it, not because they're looking for like the best source of information that's not run by some CIA psychological operations team. So there's that. Then you have the Trump stuff that you talked about. Um, like with all the things going on, Ukraine and blah blah blah. Um, that I think is very much tied in with like the Epstein release, where like all the influencers got up with binders and I guess pretended like they smiled and said, "Look, we have the crimes," and then they didn't have
And
anything. I
nothing.
mean, that's just like pathetic, and I think it's being spun in a lot of ways towards negativity on the Trump administration. And don't get me wrong, certainly would like to see certain things run out earlier in a
You
different
think
way.
you think that was intentional?
It might have been, yeah.
You think they spiked those influence like because there was no other way to spin it, then why would you call them in, make a big thing of it, and then hand them a blacked out binder?
I think it is
That's like a
a
prank call.
yeah, it is like a prank
That's me
call.
mailing you a piece of dog shit and saying there's an acceptance letter in there, Apollo. You go, oh my God,
Yeah,
I just
for
got in a lot.
real.
You open it up and it's just a manila envelope with diarrhea. You don't go, man, that looks bad on Tommy. He couldn't produce a result. You go, Tommy's fucking Apollo. He knew Apollo was going to open that up in front of his parents.
Well, and
Yeah.
it's like it's
Sorry,
kind
keep
of
going.
on
Yeah,
on
I'll
like
keep
no
going. I'll
no no
count.
you're totally
Yeah.
right. You're totally right. You're not saying anything I'm not gonna say. But the point is really, and here's the only place that I really wonder. I mean, number one, like all the heat got thrown on Pam Bondi
Yeah.
and like Cash Patel and things like that. And like there's a part of me that it's like, how could Pam Bondi let something like that happen? Now, I'm very well aware that, she may have been led on and said, oh, well, here's what's in here, X, Y, and Z. But at the same time, she's like, yeah, it's on my desk. So like there's a part of that where I'm kind of like, Pam, what are you doing here? Like I have to question Pam Bondi a little bit on that one. But then at the same time, I think it was actually a good thing in a way because it showed like the typical cycle of influencers, many of which who, I mean, sorry everybody if you like them, like they're DoD ops or they're like the influence network. That's just what I believe they are. If you disagree with
Sure.
me, fine. But like these are people who are like the gatekeepers of like they're the new Fox News
Yeah.
in many ways.
Under the
And
guise of not being that,
yeah,
which is why they're so
and then they got
valuable.
massive egg on their face.
Yeah.
Exactly. And this
It's
is the
very
whole thing.
valuable to go, hey, fuck Sean Hannity. This guy's the real deal. He says it how it is. And you're like,
Yeah,
he
he's
does
just a
say it how it
Twitter. He's a
is.
Twitter person.
He's
He's
just, he's hard. He's
independent.
got arm tattoos. What is he saying? He's saying it is vital that Raytheon is president in Ukraine. What? I thought you said he was like a hardcore punk rock. Oh, I'm hardcore punk rock. Fuck the system. I drink, I eat steak, and I understand that we need to defend Taiwan for global trade. Like, that's what was that last line? What was that
Well,
last
okay.
line you
Well,
shoehorned in
let's
there?
take.
He
let's,
understand. I understand that. Hey, I know I'm not politically correct, and your in-laws might not like me, and I also understand that we need a no-fly zone using Patriot missiles and a series of THAAD missiles in and around Ukraine, footed by the American taxpayer. That's like not a very like leather jacket motorcycle thing to say, but like just shoehorning it in there at the end. Sorry, keep going.
no, no, you're right though. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like you take like those
I
people. I
ride a
think it would be
Harley.
cool.
I drink in the mornings. I don't give
I'm
a
just like
fuck.
you.
I
No, you know
carry a
what?
big knife and I understand that infrared seeker heads are the future of surface to air missiles.
No, it's the influencer version of like of what's her name, the Pocahontas. When she
Yeah,
was like,
yeah,
she did that video. She's like, "Look, I'm just at home having a beer with my husband, and look at my stocked fridge of ice cream. I'm just like you." That's what like that's all they are.
yeah.
And they're like, "Look, I'm here for free speech and give."
I'm not woke. I know which gender I am, and I understand the importance of a black budget and denied operations. H.W. Bush was a hero,
Yes, yeah,
but that's
yeah,
what it actually
exactly.
is for a lot, but that's what it is.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, you said it earlier, like the topics that we're not talking about, that's what's important. It's
Yeah.
like none of the stuff that you see, and let's look at like the narrative right now, right? So first of all, I'm gonna put one pin in like Ukraine and then like Canada and like all like we're gonna have new states and all this shit. Like everyone's like, oh, this is gonna be bad because this reason, and Trump's now he's a Zionist and all this stuff. Like, bro, there are like some very real national like security and strategic interests with all the things that he is doing. And I am not claiming I'm an expert on any of this stuff, but like just talk about Canada. Everyone's like was losing their shit because he was talking about Canada becoming a nation, as if like whether or not that was actually his end goal, which I think it probably is. Um, like we've been talking about southern border, southern border, southern border. Oh my God. And they have all the pictures and some of them are old and it just gets recycled. Like, look at all these people. Yeah, it's a big deal. Cool. Got it. Like northern border, big problem, bro. We got like China over there. They got like drones that they're running. They've got Chinese drones securing the border and all kinds of stuff. They've rolled out programs through Canada. You've got CCP like in Canada. We're like surrounded by CCP. The whole Taiwan thing. Like, do we really think that Taiwan is not the CCP already? Like, like we're playing all these dumb games like with the conversations on this. It's like, dude, if Trump's going to actually protect the nation and stop the bloodshed, because remember repeatedly he said I want people to stop dying. Him like sticking his schlong into Israel's business and saying let's stop the war over there for right now, and then he like totally blasts Bibi, gets him on stage and announce like, and you see him, you see like the
Yeah, that
prime
was
minister, and
weird.
he's like,
He was like,
"What?"
this
He's just
must
like,
be.
"Gaza is ours," and he's like, "Excuse me." And he couldn't say anything because what is he going to say then?
Yeah,
He's
what do
like,
you?
"No, we're going to keep murdering everybody because
Trump's
we
like, I'd
deserve
like to
it."
thank BB because he understands it's ours. He gave
Yeah,
him like
and then
a,
he did the same
you
thing with
like this
Zelensky. Like, and
motherfucker.
he's like, "Oh, you don't want people to stop dying? Get out of my office!" Like the whole thing. He's just showing people what they are, but then also even with the Ukraine, like we're gonna have a presence over there. It's, I mean, again, I'm no geopolitical expert, but like, if you want to have some presence over there. We do have a lot of minerals that we really do need. Ukraine, cool. We can have some business to do there. That would really help the United States, especially when we're talking about the CCP issue and all the like ore and all the
Well, it's
like things
also
that we need for
it,
things. But then also it tells Russia, yeah, but it's not yours. Like just like
no,
fuck
and
off
that's
and
the
chill.
devil's advocacy is like simply by having like what was ultimately the war on terror, like at its truest, most naked form. Don't look at any narratives. It was the U.S. putting 1 million armed men and another 100 million tons of war material on top of oil. Even if we don't take it, what it does mean is that they don't take it. That's what it was in its truest form. Strip away borders, strip away language. It's these guys with guns are going, we're on top of the oil. That's very accurately a thing to be we're in Ukraine now, and it just means that you guys aren't. That's a very real thing.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be like, oh, we're gonna go have 15 bases over there like we have in the rest of the world. They have like contractors over there. So what
Yeah.
does that mean? It means if Russia wants to come in and like, pull a move, well, hey, those are our people now.
Now
You
it's
know,
yeah no it's yeah
it's like it's chess moves in a lot of ways. And I'm not gonna say I know exactly how it's gonna pan out, but like the Canada thing, it's a big deal. And then we
and
go
Greenland
to
yeah
yeah, in Greenland, huge deal. And then we talk about like, the Epstein stuff. And here's kind of where I sit on it. It would be great to have some more information out. It would also be great for people to talk about the real stuff that Epstein was doing instead of just like, the sexual abuse stuff, which is so surface level and used to distract, much like the cocaine and hookers was used to distract from the real information that was in the Biden laptop. But let's not go back in time too far. Like same thing. It's like you're talking about clicky baity stuff and you're missing like real national security problems and huge corruption. But let's talk about Epstein. Let's say they're like, release the Epstein, like just release it all. What if it legitimately does take down a massive percentage of Congress, all these people, world leaders, X, Y, and Z? What if it compromises things that are going on with, I mean, either under the surface hot wars or I mean, legitimate national security interest. Are you just going to rip that band-aid off and also do it without giving your administration time to perform a legitimate investigation? We saw with his first administration that it's full of bad actors. Do we still think that we know we have those people still, and
mm.
it takes some time to clear that out. I would like it to go a little bit faster, but like let's take the path that we assume that Trump is actually trying, and the Trump administration, again, not just Trump, the people who are really, trying to do something to fix the nation. You can't just like blast it. I mean, we like still have people running ops that like election machines are fine. It's been how many years?
yeah
And now we're just gonna like take down the entire infrastructure of the country and pretend like it's all gonna be fine. I mean, it's not.
yeah
Like if they don't do this by the book, I think you're gonna have so much chaos that it's gonna be much easier for the people who want to destroy the country and want to be the new guard to capitalize on that chaos. And also, if you're doing stuff just like because you can, what precedent are you setting legally that could be used against the people once Trump's not in office? I mean, it's
mm.
like it's not a haphazard thing to do. And all these things happening at once, I understand the slowdown in the timeline, and it frustrates me. But like, I do believe that people should be a little bit more patient, especially with like some of the big Epstein releases. The biggest thing was the whole like Bondi thing. Um, but I mean, how do you like completely tear down a system
we
and rebuild something without everyone under it getting hit by the
well,
falling, stone? You know what I mean?
well and that's a fair point is like is that we don't exist in a vacuum like me and my buddy Matt are playing Escape from Tarkov right now and every once in a while like your gun jams or like you got to you get shot you got to like fix your arm and it takes like a minute you can't just it's not you actually got to go in it's like a whole fucking gay animation. But the thing is, you have to wait until the firefight's over because you can be like, "Hey, my arm's fucked. I got to go back into this room." And it's like, "Yeah, but there's five guys storming the front of the whatever cafe we're in with machine guns. You don't exist in a vacuum. You kind of have to nullify everyone." And it's like, "All right, I think you have a minute, and then you can fix it." We don't live in a vacuum. You can't just pull the band-aid off and go, "All right, this thing's fucked, and we're gonna let it happen." There are other countries that want to be the hegemon. It's the tale as old as time. They want to be the king of the world. For me, I'm with you. you do have to do it by the book. I always have to ask, and this is just for a test on myself, is I always have to ask myself if this was happening under Biden and I was watching some two left-leaning guys go, it's going to take a minute. How much patience would I give that? Would I go, sure, you got to do it by the book? At what point would I go, these guys are just running cover for Biden? And it may not
Hmm.
even be intentionally malicious. So I have to do that with myself, not even you, with myself. If I go, no, they got to do it right. How long am how much of that is my own bias because I like Trump and I voted for him? Would I extend that patience to someone else? If it was a different president, would I say they're complicit? Just for my own sense of like fairness. Because it is only May. He's been in office not even 4 months. Like fair. But
Well, and
I
again, the
yeah.
vacuum is like it's not just like it's everyone's just like Trump, Trump. That's how that's it all goes back to like, well, Trump should. Bro, the guy's got the same amount of hours in the day.
Yeah.
Now, we're not gonna when I make that statement, I'm not gonna include the very real like order that he put out that said we have the technology to manipulate space and time. But
Yeah,
like
that was an interesting little you gotta be like, hold on, what?
yeah,
What's
just
that?
a sprinkle there.
Mexicans are
Um,
rapists, women are fat, we have the power to manipulate space and time. And we're gonna make America great again. You're like, dog, can you
can you back that up more quick?
yeah.
Can
But
I?
amazing things out in at the Nevada test site, Area 51, Roswell, very real. You're like, dog, you have got to what in God's name did you just say?
I
You didn't even
know.
say we have advanced technology. Yeah, I assume the military has advanced. We have the ability to manipulate space and time. You're like, you really need to go back.
There's just like this one like line in this order talking
And like
about
everything you
technology and
said, could
stuff.
you go back and read line 4 about how we have the
Yeah.
ability
I'm
to
sorry, Mr.
manipulate?
President. Come again?
Hey, Mr. President, that was a great ad read. Could you go back to the point where you were pretty much insinuating that we have successfully reversed alien technology? We're now using that to dominate the world.
Well, I
Uh,
mean, hey, what if the alien technology was ours? I mean, here, I'll go on
what's
this.
the difference?
He brought up world fairs. How many times has he brought up world fairs, right?
Yeah. And
Like, bro,
that used to be a huge thing.
well, it used to be a huge thing, but then you have to ask, like, what was it really? I mean, maybe they rewipe humanity and like restart civilization every few hundred years or something like that. And we've
We
done this a
might
whole lot of times. And then they had the world fairs and all the like orphan cars, and they just
what if the game is
repopulate
so much
people.
bigger than we think? You get in Trump's like it's not even like Epstein, Ukraine. He's like the human population's been reset every 500 years for the last billion years. This has happened more times than there are stars in the skies.
Correct.
Right now we are posing a very valuable and very potentially successful human counterstrike against the archons that run the world. He'd be like, "Oh, yeah, man, sorry. If you need a you you need another 4 months." Like, yeah, okay, sorry. Like we're trying to crack the matrix itself. You're like, "My bad. Sorry. Yeah, no."
Well, I mean, no, you want to go into like what I really think is here's the things that frustrate me. We talk
Even
about
that,
COVID.
I give that like I'd say that's like 10% chance. I'm so far through like the looking glass that I'm like, no, we're trying to like break out of the matrix and Trump and them are fighting the demons that manipulate our space and time. And right now we've kind of caught on to their system and we're trying to break out of the prison planet. Yeah, put that on like 1 in 10. Like,
Well, I mean, hey, dude, like we still can't go to Antarctica. I wonder why.
yeah, no, I'm like 1 in 10. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. What you were about to say? What do you really believe?
So let's talk like, COVID. We'll talk about that whole thing. And everyone's like, bioweapon. They're all bioweapons. And yeah, look at the myocarditis. Wow. And you have all the same people. And then they're like, buy my products to detoxify the graphene and the
Yeah.
mRNA. Like, are you fucking dumb? Like, I'm going to buy your $40 bottle of some herb and NAC and I'm going to detoxify Department of Defense technology and
Nanotechnology.
nanotech. And like, are you serious? Like, I look at these people, I'm like, you guys are real.
This
Like,
is the
you guys are
cutting edge
truly
of
doing
DARPA
this.
tech to run the world. But if
Like, are
you
you
just take
serious?
niacin,
You'll be fine.
you
Yeah,
didn't think they war gamed
detoxify the
that?
spike
You
protein
don't
with
think they
my
war gamed that?
subscription supplement. Yeah, bro, it's the same people. Like, it drives me nuts. And the conversation is always on that. And then they're like, oh, the 5G, it connects to 5G. And when you have graphene in your body, 5G is harmful. Sorry, 5G was harmful before. This is like 10 plus years old. I mean, like there were people yelling about smart meters and 5G a long time ago. Now they already have it out, bro. I mean, they did it. They got the towers, they got all the street lights and all the stuff. It listens to things and it's all IoT devices. Like it's
Internet,
already
yeah.
there, bro. And 5G, that's like old G. They got newer G. Like China had a there was a fucking article like I don't like a few years ago or last year that was like China is just unveiling its like 10G infrastructure.
Oh
Like
yeah.
5G is not where they're at, bro. The vaccine, which we're not even gonna call it vaccine. Number one, not simply a bioweapon, because like let's be realistic. If there maybe if you say it's all about like some ideology, like you had to take it and put it in your own arm because Satan needs you
You
to
have to, yeah,
consent.
it has to be free will and karma and like
Yeah, fine. But like the Matrix that like they want to lock you into is not like you got a shot and then they just murdered everybody. Like
it's not
think
vol if it
about that.
really
There's
is
cheaper ways
global.
to do it, bro.
Well,
There's
it's
cheaper
not.
ways.
No, first of all, there are. Absolutely there are. But second of all, like I get the whole I don't agree with it, but I understand the logic of the it has to be free will. Sure, in that paradigm, in that thought system, if that's the game you're playing, I also don't think that's real. If they needed this thing, they're not going to base it on a voluntary. If anything, it's probably like narratives to where the whole get the shot, not the shot doesn't fucking matter. We all got, penetrated by the same nanotech. And it probably that too probably happened years ago. Not only did it not matter if you did or didn't get the shot, I'm sure there were like heart issues, but the real thing was like the nanobots, that itself was probably released in like '08. Like
Bro,
we're like
the
levels of
nanotech,
like Windows
we're so
behind.
far behind. Then this is why no, but this is why it's dangerous because it's like number one, you have all the things that they talk about, and you look at the media. Take a slight tangent back to what we were talking about earlier. What is everything like all the viral shit? It's like a bunch of division ops. So you've got like
Yeah.
some black thing, some black versus white thing, and then you've got the Israel thing over there. So like, oh, Jews versus Hamas, and they're murdering Christians over there. Was that real? I don't know. And then the Kamalo thing and the white chick Shiloh, and it's literally just like race stuff, race stuff, race stuff, and then you have the influencers to make their whole shtick on like Jews are bad. It's and there's like white people are being exterminated. They're just like Alex Jones knockoffs. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Alex Jones, like Mr. Stratford, you're very entertaining at times. This is like on this was like in WikiLeaks. He's a freaking Israeli
He's
like
the most he's
thing.
just says in the bubble of entertainment, he's the most entertaining man alive. Give
I
I'll,
mean,
I'll,
dude, I
I'll give credit where
he's
it's due.
fantastic character,
Yeah, no, a
fantastic
character,
character,
bet most entertaining man alive. Sorry,
but
keep going. Yeah,
character,
but yeah,
character. So all this stuff is just like more distraction, like divide people
yeah,
against stupid stuff. But then you have like the real things, and that's way behind because we're talking about like, oh, look, they have drones and they're talking about Amazon shit. Like, bro, it's way past that stuff. Like the things, like we're not having conversations about who's giving the like accountability when they're deploying drones and autonomous systems that kill people.
yeah.
I mean, this goes back to Obama too. Like, you know, you have on the battlefield, but then you have like police departments that are rolling out drones for security, and they have like,
I,
oopsie, we can like shoot somebody.
I'm gonna
Like,
s- I'm gonna
this is
send.
where it's all going. We're not talking about like, oh, some dude, like everyone's talking about like SIG P320s. Okay, like let's say the gun can shoot itself, but it's a drone and they're all over the nation and all over the borders. And then they also have laws that like you basically have 100 miles from every border that they can like come in and screw with your house. Like you're not like it's way bigger than this. And then you take the shots. Everyone's talking about again 5G bioweapon. They injected you or got you to inject yourself with a biocyber interface that hooks you up to their far beyond 5G systems where now you're a node on the network
Mhm.
because that's what there are. Like I think it was just load balancing. And again, I'm like not the
No,
expert
that
on
was
this,
one of my favorite
but
tweets
this
I
is where it's
saw.
all at, dude. They're using totally different systems. Like the internet is not like through the cell towers anymore and all that shit. Like they are running the
Yeah,
internet through all of you, and they basically just put out a bunch of sensors because that's what these things is. The thing can realign and network itself through the path of least resistance and things like that. They didn't need everyone to get the shot. It was never about that. They
No.
just got everyone hooked up, and now you've got a bunch of little sensors in you, and yeah, it's
It
all kinds of
truly
creepy
it
shit.
truly became a global brain. You
Oh,
have
bro, Elon keeps talking about going to Mars. Where's Mars, bro? We can't go to the moon still. Where's Mars, dude? Because let me tell you, when they were doing like weird experiments and shit on kids, they had all kinds of people thinking that they were on Mars and they were, in whatever place. And now everyone's talking about VR and the weird freakazoids like Ellison and these people who, by the way, are tied in with Trump's big AI initiative bill that like
Stargate.
first week in office, yeah, Stargate,
No, like
and
first
they're
three
going to use
days, he said,
precision mRNA healthcare. Bro, you're going to be in VR. You're not going to be in Mars. You're going to be like strapped in. It's like those animes where you're like locked into the thing and you can't leave to the real
"Is
world.
Mars the god of war in
Yeah,
Roman?
yeah.
Maybe is that what Mars is? Like we're going to just total war? Is that just like some fucking euphemism? Like it's World War III. We're going to Mars. It's not a big red planet. It's a big red mushroom cloud that's gonna turn this planet big and red. I mean, if you turned every human into a node, though, I mean, it would be the most realistic global brain because you'd have all these self-incentivized things that much like, traffic going around something, it would be this moving, manipulating node. And then yeah, there was a tweet I saw. I don't remember where the fuck it is. I love it though, and it was like I don't think that the shots were a bioweapon. I think that these were full, yeah, no, full of nanobots to sync you up to the like 12G Antichrist silicon super hell that they're breaking through the portal at CERN. It's like that's my politics. And I
All
found it and I
right,
was like this, I was like
Tommy.
this,
I'm aroused, bro.
yeah, no, I found that and I was like, this is, I'm not left or right. This is my political ticket. Like, that's my belief. But that's what I think it is it's probably so mind-shatteringly. I think it was Kosovo or Serbia. We were using the F-117 stealth bomber, the angular one from the 80s. And it got shot down. It was a fluke. They like shot a surface to air missile and it wasn't guided. It was truly like a one in a million shot. They hit this thing that I don't think they even saw, but it was just a lucky. It's you threw a basketball with your eyes closed and you happen to make a shot, and it went down. And it was this whole black project that like the DoD had to like come out and acknowledge, and it was light years ahead what anyone thought was possible. It had the radar cross section of a ball bearing. You couldn't see it. The years after that, it came out that like metaphorically and literally way above it was the B-2 stealth bomber, which is like a paradigm shift more advanced than the F-117. It's the big flat wing.
Mhm.
And I just think that's like such a perfect analogy for like going up against the powers that which you should do because they are truly spawns of Satan and it's God put you here to do it. But it's like if by happen chance with a lucky pot shot you stumble upon advanced tech, by the time that advanced tech was deployed, there was the next level of advanced that I doubt the pilots of the F-117 knew that the B-2 even existed. They thought they were in the bee's knees, and there was a bee's or knees or above it. That's how I like whatever we've stumbled upon, whatever like Wuhan or Fort Detrick documents, that's already like 9 generations old. Like it is so beyond the pale. And it can induce helplessness, but I think at the very least it helps me not get caught up in the quote unquote like little victories that are spewed at us by the Andrew Tate or the Candace Owens. To me, I'm like the fact that this is out, that this is trending, that everyone's on this, that tells me that that's not the thing. That's not important. And you were all waking up to the Jewish question. I'm like, what was the 500 billion Trump announced to Project Stargate? That's an innocuous name. Project Stargate. Half a trillion in his like first 3 days in office. But we're just now getting to the USS Liberty.
I know,
It's
bro. He has like Larry Ellison and all these people from different nations who are involved in like some of the most creepy shit. like legitimately running all kinds of systems, getting real time digital twin data on your health, your biometrics, activity, X and Y and Z. And then it's rolled into the same thing. And Larry Ellison said it. And he's just like, yeah, we're going to do really great work with mRNA, CRISPR, targeted healthcare, which it means that that's like the next G.
I was
That's
gonna say
you
that's
are the network, and they have all your shit in real time, and they can use
tar
their
targeted is
targeted
such an
beam
interesting word to
directional
use.
frequencies and stuff. Yeah, right.
Targeted
No,
such an interesting word to use for
bro,
healthcare.
they're past
Target.
like just you've got Operation. I'm sorry, I have to go
I
off for
don't
a
care.
second.
Keep going.
I'm so ADHD.
No,
Like
no,
you
no.
have like
That's
the Operation Gridlock stuff, which you see with all the people like me. If you're a Trump supporter, follow me. I'll follow you back. And all these people pumping the same garbage so that people can't like see the prison of information that they're trapped in, and they can't actually connect with people in a meaningful way. So it's like we said earlier, Fox News, you have that level of stuff, but like they're way beyond that. You have Gray on. I've had him on a few times. He talks about a lot of the MK Ultra techniques and like the trauma based stuff. And that's old stuff too. Like I went through that, but they have newer shit. They have frequency shit. Like
yeah.
the
Voice
stuff
to
now with
skull.
like all
Yeah,
the next G, they have this voice to skull
that's
and all that stuff.
old.
That's old shit. Now, like they could do way more targeted stuff with tech that you can't see or feel. Like you're not going to know, like, oh, some dude sitting out my house with a razor beam. Like, and the targeted healthcare stuff that Elsa was talking about with this AI initiative. Let's not touch on the fact that like half the government's probably run by AI. They keep getting caught writing, court filings and things like that. People are using it in dumb ways. But then you have them saying we're going to revitalize and refresh the archives with AI, and then we'll have AI Bibles and things like that. They're all outsourcing all this already. You have an AI program running the voting machines, jury selection. You have Magic Wheel that's deciding what people can we pull from the jury pool, which is supposed to be randomized, that are going to give the prosecution the most favorable result. And then you have when you get pulled over to the cops, it came out in this I think it was Loomis in Washington, or I can't remember what state, where he got pulled over and he went into court to the state Supreme Court, where he said, "Hey, I'm like not being released on bail because apparently some AI program said that I'm a flight risk or some shit." And he went to the state Supreme Court, and they ruled that, well, yeah, you can't really challenge that because it's proprietary software. So I know that you can't like question or validate the reason that some AI program said that you're a flight risk and therefore you're getting treated this way before you've been convicted of anything, but you don't have the right to look at it. It's the same argument with the voting machines. You've got all these AI systems running everything, and then the guy gets up there with $500 million and says, we're going to target all your healthcare. And that's what all this is about. Because now, how do you escape that? Like and people are talking about 5G and fucking myocarditis, dude.
Yeah.
Sorry, done. I had
No,
to,
no, no, no,
had a brain dump.
no.
But it's cool. We'll get vaccines just for our cancer.
No, it makes me think of like the meme, like what if it's all fake and gay? It does. There's something kind of fucking just like giga chat about the Bible. It's like 3,000, 2,000 years ago. It's like, yeah, no, 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 no. It's all dog shit. It's all the spawn of Satan. Put your faith in Christ. Trust nothing else. It is kind of like, fuck all this. It no increasingly complicated ways to maneuver and rationale why you should like get the mark of the beast. But it does kind of all come back to like, yeah, 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 yeah. It's all evil. One positive thought I have is so it's like nuclear fission. Like you can use it for good or any tool you can use for good and bad. You can use the knife to put butter on your toast. You can use the knife to stab your grandma. Nuclear fission, you can run power plants and, desalinate ocean water and, reduce suffering and hunger and thirst, or you can drop atomic bombs. AI, obviously, not this isn't some brilliant take, is obviously a tool that you can use for good or bad. Oh, what a brilliant take, Tommy. But there is a chance that at like whatever moment or series of moments of when the thing is about to metaphorically go nuclear, runaway intelligence, hypercomputer, there is a weird disproportionate chance that like one person might be some scientist or group of scientists who don't even know that they're on the cutting edge of this thing. They might be at some lab at 2 in the morning and all of a sudden all these markers start going off and it's, oh my God, it's reached a catalyzed runaway reaction to where in 1 hour it's gonna get smarter than it did in the previous 1,000 years. And you never know, like, how are people gonna act in that moment? They might have like a hunch that they're just doing their job, they're a patriot, they work for Grumman, and they kind of know all these systems. Tommy, those are our client kind of fucked, but I get the big picture. You never know, like, what dude or group of dudes is just gonna have some like look at each other and they're like, what if we just coded it to be good? Well, they'll kill us in an hour. They'll send in fucking Delta Force right now. Like, it is very like Lord of the Rings. Like, what if we just cast it into the fire? They're gonna kill you. They're gonna kill your family. I always think about that. Like, and it might be a childish view of it because I'm sure that's not like 1 point, but we don't know when it's gonna go like super critical. And you never know how someone like I've had Dale on a Delta Force guy, and he talks about all his like like legitimately like mentally retarded like Afghanis that he would like train, and he's like they're all fucking idiots. Their flip flops are on the wrong feet. And he's like, but I'll be goddamned when the bullet starts flying. You're always surprised at like the one dude who just in a second his balls drop and he just takes it's like something deep and primitive. Dude, they no fear. And here's a guy that's just a total goofball and he just turns into Rambo. And he just courage under fire and you can't train it. And he's like, you can't choose it, you can't predict it. Like what dude is gonna be just sitting there at the lab and he sees it and they're just maybe he's disillusioned or whatever and he's like, what if I just made this thing like, fuck, what if I just fed it the Bible right now? And it's like, I know they're watching every move, like they'll kill me. But I always think like, what if there is just because it could go evil. That's like the expected thing, and it's the probable thing. But as this thing is becoming like hyper powerful, and that's how it is like postulated and theorized that like when it goes to intelligence, it will go to super intelligence. Like it'll take 100 year or 50 years of AI research for it to go to zero to human intelligence, and that might take an hour for it to go to from human to God. Because it's bootstrapping, it's researching itself, and itself is researching, and it accelerates. Maybe it's like a naive kind of Disney take, but I always think like, what if someone just had like a change, like just some stroke of like, this is about to unleash hell on earth, or I don't know, you just tell it you're like Jesus is Lord, and it's just like Raj and just takes it. Like I don't know, but I do have a hope that because if it was pure evil and omnipotent, I think it already would have happened. It already would have taken over, undeniably taken over. Not like we can postulate as AI. Right? It would be like Skynet, like straight up. But I don't know. That's like one I try to keep a positive thought. Like, what if there is just someone with a change of heart who's just like, yeah, they're gonna send in a security team. They're probably already running down the hall. They're gonna put a bullet in my fucking head if I don't, whatever, if I don't feed at the Church of Satan. Like, but I don't know. I do like to think that there's just like a I don't know David and Goliath moment. I don't really know where I was. There was no end point to that, but
No, I mean it's a good thought. I mean, here's the kind of how I see it. First of all, I mean, call it hand of God and really good, interventions and work by people who really do care. I think, some combination of that is the only reason that we haven't already seen like civil war in this country
hmm
and major global conflict that would have killed a absurd amount of people and set the stage for the new guard. Because if I was going to encapsulate all the things that we just have talked about, really, I think a lot of it comes down to old versus new guard. So you have like these people who've been running the country their way and making us think that we actually, have a say in how anything happens and that we elect leaders, et cetera, or that we want all the things that we're told that we vote for. Um, and then you have just take the Trump administration, good or bad, take his actual intentions or the administration's actual intentions. Because again, it's not a vacuum. It's not just Trump. There's all kinds of people around him that, are doing things too in ways that not everybody sees or understands. Um, but then you have like a lot of these new media, these people who have become like now Fox News and keep trying to say that they're best friends with Trump and that, they know what's going on. Because they're just fighting to be in the new power structure, is what it
Mm.
is. Like there's a cabal, and now people can say, okay, well, it's just a different cabal now, or it's some system that's trying to free the cabal from control over the people. Either way, you have all these people, and they want to be the new in crowd. They want to be the new media. They want to be the new gatekeepers. They want
Right.
to be the new guard, and they are the ones. And then you have people like military. Military, that's how they see things. Like everyone's like, oh, the military has to do it. There's ways where that's 100% true in my estimation. But like, do you really want military chain of command to be the way that like things work? Like what they see is like we're in command. You shut up and listen. Like like do you want your country to be run like military command? Like, is that truly what you want? Do you know what you're asking for? I mean, so
No,
there's
they
like
do
there's
not.
no, they
There's a
don't.
reason why the phrase exists: deserters will be shot, not one step back. Do you know where those come from? It comes from go forward, and if you refuse that order, you're an enemy combatant.
Yeah, I mean, like, so people, well, but it goes down to like the media and like especially when you talk about psyops and how they're running all these different networks and things like that. And you look at the fake news and how that's tied in with military intelligence or whoever. Like, there's bad actors in all these spaces, but part of them, I think, are locked in because that's what they know. They were military. So if they're going to run something, they have to be in control of it. And that includes the people. So if you're gonna maintain a nation and do what's best, you have to have control. And that I think is like the new guard that wants to do it in opposition to the interests of an actual free world, free nation in a lot of ways. And that's why I think a lot of these people are really, they've been trying to basically be in the new guard.
Mm.
And I think we need to get rid of the idea of, the guards. So
Mm.
that's what I hope is going to be realized with this current administration. But then again, you have like, how far can you let the people have control if they have no effing clue what they're doing? Like, if you have a bunch of people who've been so robbed of information and understanding of like what it takes to run a nation and to be a sustainable community that interconnects with now the world with the interconnected lives we now lead. What do you just say like, okay, here you go, guys? It's like kind of the metaphor of like give a newbie a bazooka. What do you expect is going to happen?
Yeah.
Like you're giving infants a hand grenade if it was done, like rip a band-aid off style. So I mean, there's actual logistical issues with just giving power back to the people in a snap way.
Mm.
And that's I think why a lot of people are frustrated. But at the same time, I don't know that we've reached critical mass yet where enough people will be able to like service their own engine, so to speak.
Mm.
Um, but my biggest concern is really like, we talk about, oh, the enforcers and all kinds of things like that. With the technology they have now, like in most situations, they don't need that anyways. Like they don't need all the hit squads posted in every city, which I'm sure they have. But if you can like zap somebody and they have ways where they can just make you go crazy, and I mean, they have ways to discredit people. Sure, they'll kill you if they really need to,
Yeah.
if they're really afraid that you're gonna rug pull them. But like that's the most terrifying aspect, especially when you talk about AI, because what if AI doesn't need to kill all humanity because it's already at a place or very close to it where it can control it, anyways. I mean, that's really the issue. And when you talk about like the AI stuff, like some of the things you just mentioned, you look at Musk. I mean, I think we're in a good place overall because we haven't seen more violence than we have. in this country and abroad, and a lot of that has been curated as well. But I mean, it comes down to like you look at Chat GPT versus Grok or these different models. Number one, if we're going to have something that's going to be like pivotally involved in how we govern or how we live or whatever, or we have like crypto and all kinds of things, and these are all run on systems that you can't see. I mean, like, who built it? Like, again, Chat GPT versus Grok. You're just talking about like an LLM. So, what information was fed into it? Chat GPT knows the Bible, but then who's weighting it? Who's like making sure that its directives actually serve humanity? And how do you define that? You know, it's like it's not just feed it the Bible. I mean,
Yeah.
are you going to feed it Leviticus? Like,
Yeah.
like well, what do you, what do you? Well, I don't want that. You
No.
know, so there has to be. And then again, let's pretend that like the Bible's all there in the 66 books that they gave us.
Yeah.
But you know, you have very real questions, especially now in this age of AI and all the things that we're not already aware of as a people that are run by AI and how far the advanced tech really is. I mean, we need to have like real serious conversations and disclosure about, you know, the horrible things that they've done to people. But how do you do that in a way that, how do you do that in a way that people can understand what the real landscape is, but then also giving them a path to move forward? Because that's otherwise, you know, it's like black pill. And
Yeah.
that's not that I'm saying that like, you know, they're doing that, but I mean, how do you really take a people that have been infantilized in their
Yeah.
understanding of like reality in the world
And
and
just set them free.
yeah, I mean, it's, you know, you kind of like let's assume that Earth is a biosphere. Like let them free in the biosphere. Like, do you let them out?
Yeah, no,
You
do you
know,
let
at
the
what at
animal
what
out of the
point?
zoo? Yeah, no. How
Yeah, at
quickly are
what
their
point do you let
throats
the lion
ripped
out?
out by a lion? Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
and
it's kind of here's the last like kind of point to that. There's like a couple questions, right? So you ever heard the question, oh well, what happens? A plane just crashed. You've got like, you know, all kinds of chaos and whatever, and you're on an island and you're stranded there. What's the first thing you do?
if you're on, I would imagine, if you're on fire, put out the fire. No,
Well, I mean, there you go. I mean, so you know, I've heard this
run
conversation
away from
posted a
the
few
fire,
times.
run away from the
Well, but see, here's the
explosion.
thing: is most people will be like, "Cool, the plane has crashed. People are hurt. You're on an island. You need food. You need water. You need shelter. What's the first thing you do?" And it's like, you know, and I've heard several people go, "Oh, well, we need to build a shelter, divide the men and women, and start gathering, and then the men go start hunting." It's like, how about you care for the injured? That would
So
be a
to
good
say how many
idea.
people are fucked up, how many?
Yeah, like how about you take care of the people who are hurt first? Which is kind of the same thing going back to what you mentioned earlier about, okay, well, you know, my arm's screwed up, but there's five dudes walking in the door with you know, bullets flying
Yeah,
at us. But you got to prioritize some things. So I think
yeah.
if we look at like the Trump administration, I think that maybe those are the two things we should keep asking. Like, are there bullets coming at us, or is there someone who might walk in right now
Yeah.
and then care for the injured? Like, is the course of action that you're asking for, or that you're saying he should do yesterday, what would the battlefield
And
look
it's
like after that?
and it's the worst of the plane crash. The plane crash. Did all the fuel tanks go up, or is there another one cooking? Like, do we need to get the fuck away from this?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Like I don't have any answers, but I
No,
mean,
you know,
it's
me
like that's like
neither.
my head
It's
trip, you
yeah,
know?
no, no. It's a fair. Yeah, because it's like a kindergarten Boy Scout view of like let it all out and let the people rule. It's like I get your heart's in the right place.
Well, and two things can be true at the same time.
Yeah, but it's a very bad idea. Like it's a very bad like just no, don't do that. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the positive, and we'll wrap it up with this, but I guess the positive kind of view I always think is like if there were good guys that fought against whatever, the Illuminati, the New World, whatever you want to call it, and they not only wanted to save the world, but also make sure that the bad guys didn't burn it all down as they went down, what would it look like? it probably it would probably look kind of like what we're seeing. It wouldn't be a glorious, and then the bomb hits and they're all dead. It would be probably some convoluted, very high level tactical move, counter move, drawn out, minimizing casualties and avoiding kinetic war. It'd probably look something like this. If you're just if you're just to like write a story about like how that would happen and you wanted it to be realistic, it would probably look something like this. It'd be like long, and you'd be able to see little movements, like buttoning up the border, or you know, Trump saying that to Bibi. But it would probably be like a very slow, like unwinding of tied knots. It wouldn't be a glorious like snip it off or light it on fire. It would be like a slow, methodical, and it would probably really only make sense in hindsight. So that's where I get some like optimism. I'm like, yeah, this is what it would look like. So I don't know. Um, but yeah, Apollo is on the run because as we said, Interpol is closing on him in several locations. So this was a V-tube. This isn't what he looks like. We changed his face and his voice because they're after him in France. And
I'm actually a Thai lady.
yeah, yeah. For now, and you don't even know.
For
For
now.
now,
We'll see in June.
he's on the move. He's with Julian Assange and Ed Snowden. And that's it. People are like, that's how it ends. He kind of called him a pedophile, and
All right, hey,
then
would you smash?
yeah.
All
Oh,
right,
no, I would. Yeah, no, absolutely
all
would.
right.
You said got that George Floyd fucking shirt on. I do want to. I think you and I should get matching like XXL street vendor shitty graphics of just like George Floyd shirts. Just we should just wear them whenever we do shows and like never address it. Just giant, like the shit you'd get at a concert, like a 311 shirt or something. It's just like George Floyd, like Fent Life. People are like so wildly, we're just having these deep talks about like good and bad and again, Fent gang. Um, yeah, everybody, your Twitter will be in the description. And thank you for that book. I wrote it down. I am gonna read it. Paul, it's always good
Yeah,
talking to
highly
you, man.
recommended.
I
You too,
appreciate
man.
having you. You're a good dude. Appreciate your time. Till next time, brother. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching.